Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Friday the 13th, the 2009 version, starring Jared Padalecki, Danielle Pennebaker, Aaron Yu, Amanda Righetti, Travis Van Winkle, and Derek Mears, and directed by Marcus Nispel. From last week, or time I should say, with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I do remember going to a midnight showing of this when this came out, and I've seen it a few more times after that, and what do I think of it? I remember liking it, but let's see about right now. We open with in 1980, where Mrs. Voorhees is cornering that girl that probably is Alice. She's never named, but in the unrated cut, we see Jason watching the decapitation of his mother, which is pretty fucked up to see at a young age, as Alice beheads Mrs. Voorhees and collects a machete. And we move on to present day as Wade, Richie, and his girlfriend Whitney. Richie and Richie's girlfriend and as well as Whitney, played by Amanda Righetti, and her boyfriend camping looking for weed, just like in the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. For Christ's sakes, somebody on the set must have been obsessed with Star Wars, because Wade was wearing a Star Wars shirt like I am right now. One of the characters is named Chewie, which I'll get to later in the show. At night, Wade finds the weed. Whitney and her boyfriend find the Crystal Lake cabin where Jason stayed at, as Wade tells the story of Jason and Richie to Richie and his girlfriend, and having sexual intercourse while they think Wade is watching them being a pervert and watching them in the tent. But it turns out it was Jason. It was actually pretty funny to me. Whitney and her boyfriend find Jason's cabin, and in his room has toys from like the 1960s and maybe early 70s. My problem is, where he died in 1980, wouldn't Jason have toys from like the late 1970s instead of being from the 60s? The timeline is really off in this movie. What year is this movie supposed to take place in? Wade gets cut in the ear by Jason, and Richie finds him dead as his girlfriend is being burned in a tent on fire, and Whitney's boyfriend gets killed as Jason's underground, as Whitney runs back to camp, and Richie gets back to camp and gets trapped by a bear trap, as Whitney makes it back to see Richie is the only one of her friends alive, and Jason kills him off with his machete, and it looks like we see Whitney getting killed, but she ends up alive later in the movie. And this is all before the title of the movie on the screen, which will show up 25 minutes into the movie. And as an opening, it took too long, and it sucks ass. We move on to 6 weeks later. 6 or 17s, led by Trent, played by Travis Van Winkle. Jenna, played by Danielle Pennebaker. Lawrence, who's the African-American guy. Chewie, played by Aaron Yu. Nolan, and Bree. Nolan's the blonde-haired Matthew McConaughey lookalike. Bree is another blonde, I'll say. And Chelsea buying things. And Chelsea's another brunette, I should rephrase it as. But they're buying things and getting gasoline, while Whitney's brother Clay, played by Jared Padalecki, is looking for his sister, which reminded me of Part 4 in a way, while Trent is being the biggest asshole in this movie. And this actor, Travis Van Winkle, plays it very well as the other characters. I like Chewie and Lawrence, but the other characters are a little annoying here. But I'm not here to see Harold and Kumar go to Crystal Lake. I'm here to see Jason kill some people. Trent is like, don't do this, don't do that kind of a guy, as he tells people not to put their feet on the table, don't drive my boat, and he's the only one that gets to laid. It reminded me, why did he invite Chewie, Lawrence, and Nolan? And is what really bugs the shit out of me. I get why he invites the girls, but am I dreaming, or does Nolan look like Matthew McConaughey? It's been bugging me, and Trent looks like the 1980s Tom Cruise persona, and that annoyed me to death as well. And some pervert is killed by Jason, and his bagged head is cut, But Jason grabs the hockey mask, and he could be anybody. And just because he picked up a hockey mask, he's Jason, didn't make any sense. Nolan and Chelsea drive the boat, and Chelsea drops the boat, and Nolan gets arrowed by Jason, and what was fucking hysterical. I was laughing my ass off. Chelsea's death was predictable. I saw it coming from like a mile away based on the stills I've seen. Clay and Jenna go on a hike and get to know each other, and at nighttime, they find Jason's cabin and go inside and see all of this random shit that's never changed up, by the way. And they should get the hell out of there until they see Jason coming back with a dead body. And Clay and Jenna really make a run for it. And that's when we see Whitney is alive, because she's had that necklace she took with a picture of Jason's mother. And Jason is led to believe it is his mother and keeps her alive for that reason. It didn't make any sense to me. Chewie gets his lip burned and breaks a chair and grabs Trent's tools as Clay and Jenna get back to the cabin and warn the others to call the police, while Chewie is killed by Jason. And as soon as the lights go off, Lawrence goes outside to find Chewie in the tools section, and he finds him dead and fights Jason but can't outrun him. And as Jason kills him in a horribly disturbing way, throwing an axe on his back, it was a horribly disturbing scene. And the cop comes by, and Jason does kill him. And I thought the town would allow him to do this. I swear to God, for half the movie, I thought that until that cop gets a death, as it was reminding me of the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is not a good sign, because remember, I gave that thing a 5.1 out of 10, so I gave it a pass. This is not a passable whatsoever. Jason kills Bree with antlers on the wall, and I'm not satisfied at this point, because I'm turning against the movie at this point. Trent grabs a gun and apparently doesn't know how to fucking use it, because he's shooting things left to right, and they almost leave, but have no way to have a vehicle. Clay, Jenna, and Trent go their separate ways, and Trent almost gets hit by a truck until Jason stabs him and puts him on the truck, which is a cheering moment, because that was a good fucking riddance with this guy. Clay and Jenna go back to Jason's cabin and hear Whitney's voice, which led to the bottom of the house, and they find Whitney there and get her out of there. And they almost escape when Jenna gets stabbed, and Clay tries to find a way to kill Jason, and Whitney hides until she fights him. And they go into a machine that could kill Jason, but it first requires Whitney acting like Jason's mother, and she puts a machete through his heart, and they drop his body in the necklace in the lake and jumps out, and it ends right there. And I thought, that's it? The ending and climax sucks ass. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 2.6 out of 10. There are so many problems with the Star Wars connection, and the characters are tedious. But I do like Lawrence and Chewie, and as they were entertaining. But that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to see Harold and Kumar Part 4. Remember, there's 3 of them at the moment. As this isn't as scary at all. It's more funny to me. This movie sucks ass, as you should stay as far the fuck away from this movie. Whatever you do, don't watch this thing. Don't reward the makers with your money. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for this Friday the 13th series. And until next time.